Felix Hernandez was one of the greatest Mariner of all time. He is the all-time Mariners leader in wins and strikeouts as a starter. He pitched a perfect game, won a Cy Young Award, and was a six-time All-Star, and he was one of the core players throughout the 2010s. As of 2023, he has been inducted into the Mariners Hall of Fame and will be honored in the 2023 season. And hopefully, he will one day be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. However, he is one of the most tragic heroes in Mariners history, and it's sad that he never pitched one game in the playoffs due to the fact that he was never on a good team throughout his entire career, and all of those years carrying the Mariners. Wear and tear caught up to him, which eventually led to his downfall towards the end of his career, and eventually retired in 2021. In these following videos, we will reflect his time in Seattle. But before we get into that, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, as it will help the algorithm of this channel. Felix Hernandez was born in Valencia, Venezuela. It was unclear when he started to play baseball, but when he was 14 years old, he was noticed by part-time Mariner scout Luis Flenmeyer in a tournament near Maracaibo, Venezuela. He was impressed with the fact that Felix was able to throw 90 miles an hour as a young kid. He was impressed so much that he recommended Felix to fellow scouts Pedro Avila and Emilio Caracal. Eventually, on July 4th, 2002, Felix Hernandez officially signed with the Seattle Mariners, and interestingly, the Mariners were actually not the highest bidder. The Atlanta Braves and the New York Yankees actually offered more money than the Mariners. However, the reasons why the Mariners were able to secure Felix despite the lower offer were these following. Former Mariner Freddie Garcia was one of Felix's idols growing up, and Felix's family had an established relationship with Bob Engel, the Mariners' director of international operations at the time, and other scouts of the Mariners. In 2003, Felix Hernandez immediately performed well in the minor leagues with Everett and Wisconsin. He pitched a 7-2 record with 91 strikeouts and a 2.22 ERA in just 9 starts. The next year in 2004, he pitched a 14-4 record with 172 strikeouts and a 2.95 ERA in just 25 starts. He was attracting so much attention that a Mariner fan blog gave him the nickname King Felix. His amazing 2004 performance earned him a trip to the Futures game, along with future stars in Robinson Cano, Justin Morneau, Edwin Encarnacion, and Shin-Soo Choo. He pitched 1 inning, striking out 1, and did not allow any runs. At the start of the 2005 season, he was ranked as the best pitching prospect in baseball, along with being ranked the second best overall prospect in baseball behind Joe Mauer. He pitched in AAA Tacoma with a 9-4 record, 2.25 ERA, and 100 strikeouts in just 88 innings. He was selected to the AAA All Star game. On August 4th, 2005, Felix was called up to the major leagues for the struggling Seattle Mariners against the Detroit Tigers with a 3-1 loss. In his next start, he recorded his first victory against the Minnesota Twins, where he pitched 8 shutout innings along with 6 strikeouts.
And that time, did he go? He did. The home plate umpire. Swing and a miss and a breaking ball in the dirt, strike 3.
Then the very next game against the Royals, he struck out 11 batters, providing hope for the future of the Mariners. A fun fact about his initial success, he pitched a streak where he didn't allow an extra base hit for 112 consecutive batters until it was broken up by Jermaine Dye. Ultimately, he finished the 2005 season with a 4-4 record, a 2.67 ERA, and 77 strikeouts in just 12 starts. In 2006, this would be Felix's first full season with the Seattle Mariners. However, he did show up to spring training out of shape and had shin splints as well, which hurt his preparation for the season. He struggled throughout the 2006 season, regressing to a 12-14 record along with a 4.52 ERA, but he did strike out 176 batters, leading the team. A bright spot of this season was when he threw his first complete game against the Angels, and he pitched a shutout against the Angels in a game that lasted only an hour and 51 minutes, which still holds up to be the quickest game in the history of Safeco Field. In the off-season, Felix Hernandez developed a workout schedule, improved his diet, went for daily running, and regular weight training where he did lose 20 pounds. And this was after the criticism that he was receiving regarding his work ethic. On his first game of the 2007 season, Felix pitched very well, pitching a 4-0 shutout with 12 strikeouts and allowing just 3 hits against the Oakland A's. Shortly after that, Felix pitched a 1-hitter in Boston against Japanese star Daisuke Matsuzaka, who was making his home debut at the time. He pitched a 14-7 record with a 3.92 ERA, leading the team. The 2008 season was a forgettable season for the Mariners due to the Mariners losing 101 games on a $100 million payroll. Even before that, the Mariners traded pieces including Adam Jones to Baltimore for Eric Bedard in hopes to compete for the playoffs, and I do have a video about that, so check that out. For Felix himself, he maintained a 3.45 ERA and 175 strikeouts, along with pitching an immaculate inning against the Marlins on June 17th.
Cantu goes down swinging. 2. Got him! 9 pitches, see you later! Ring the bell, strikes out the side.
Later on, even more amazing, Felix Hernandez hit a grand slam home run off Johan Santana, one of the best pitchers in the major leagues at the time.
He's 1 for 8. He got his base hit down in San Diego and sent a drive to deep right center field. That baby is going to be fly away, get out the rye bread and mustard grandma.
He is the only American League pitcher to ever hit a grand slam home run in Major League history. In 2009, Felix got off to a fast start, going 4-0, but he would struggle in May, going 1-3. He came under heavy criticism publicly from Mariners manager at the time, Don Wakamatsu. He stated that he needed to step up to be the ace of the team, as he had been the best pitcher of the Mariners for at least a couple years. He responded well to the criticism and went 3-0 with a 0.93 ERA in the month of June, along with 35 strikeouts. He would earn AL Pitcher of the Month and was selected to his first ever MLB All Star game. Overall, he finished 19-5 with a 2.49 ERA and 217 strikeouts. He nearly got the AL Cy Young Award, finishing just behind Zach Greinke. On January 21st, 2010, following a breakout 2009 season, Felix signed a 5-year, $78 million contract extension. Following the season, Felix had the best season of his career with a 7.2 wins above replacement, a league-leading 233 strikeouts, and a 2.27 ERA. Despite not making the All-Star game and posting a 13-12 record thanks to the lack of run support from the awful 2010 Mariners, he still won the Cy Young Award, becoming just the second Cy Young Award winner in Mariners history, the other being Randy Johnson in 1995. In the 2011 season, Felix had another fine season, going 14-14 with a 3.47 ERA, 222 strikeouts, and an All-Star appearance. A couple other highlights for the season was the introduction of the King's Court. The King's Court was a special section for Mariner fans whenever Felix pitched, which was in the left field foul territory. On 2 strikes, the fans would yell the K chant. The other notable highlight was the introduction to Felix's alter ego, Larry Bernandez.
Larry.
Larry. Bernandez.
In the 2012 season, he improved from the 2011 season with a 13-9 record, a 3.06 ERA, and 223 strikeouts, along with another All-Star appearance. How this season was really remembered for Felix was his perfect game performance on August 15, 2012 against the Rays.
The 2-2. He got him! 34 years, 119 games. It's finally happened. A perfect game by a Seattle Mariner.
He became the first pitcher in Mariners history to throw a perfect game, and was the most recent pitcher in the major leagues to pitch a perfect game until 2023, which was done by Yankees pitcher Domingo Germán. In 2013, Felix opted out of his last 2 years of his contract and signed a 7-year, $175 million with a team option in 2020. He became the highest paid pitcher in MLB history at the time. He once again pitched very well and was selected to the All-Star game once again. 2014 would be Felix's best season since the Cy Young season of 2010. From May 18th to August 11th, Felix went 16 straight outings with 7+ innings pitched and allowing 2 or fewer runs. He was selected to start for the 2014 All-Star game. He went 15-6 with a 2.14 ERA, along with a 0.91 WHIP and 248 strikeouts, career high. With the addition of Robinson Cano, the Mariners were even contending to reach the playoffs until a nasty late stretch in September, including Felix getting shelled by the Toronto Blue Jays, leading the Mariners to miss the playoffs by 1 game on the final day. However, Felix was given a standing ovation after he left the mound for the final time of the season. 2015 would be his last All Star season in his career, with a notable slight regression from the previous few seasons where he struck out less than 200 batters for the first time since 2008, and his ERA went back up to 3.53, which was the highest since 2011. He did record his 2000th career strikeout in May 2015, making him the youngest player in Major League history to accomplish that. 2016 would be the start of Felix's downfall. On opening day, he would lose his first game ever in an opener where he pitched 6 innings, struck out 6, but walked 5 and gave up 3 runs. 2 starts later against the New York Yankees, Felix recorded his 2,162nd strikeout, tying Randy Johnson for the most strikeouts as a Mariner, and then he passed Randy Johnson on the next start against the Angels. Then on May 9th, he won his 146th game against the Rays, surpassing Jamie Moyer as the winningest pitcher in Mariners history. Although 2016 started with great milestones, Felix would be placed on a 15-day disabled list due to a right calf strain after celebrating a home run. He would miss the entire month of June and the majority of July. Although he did pitch decent in August, going 4-1 with a 3.52 ERA, he did fall apart in September, going 2-3 with an alarming 5.12 ERA, and didn't strike out more than 4 batters in every game. He ended the season starting less than 30 games, going 11-8 with a 3.82 ERA, and a disappointing 122 strikeouts, along with the Mariners missing the playoffs by 3 games. 2017 saw another decline of Felix Hernandez. In April, he struggled, going just 2-2 with a 4.73 ERA and striking out less than 6 batters in each game. And on April 25th, he was removed from the game with a shoulder injury, and it turned out that he was diagnosed with a right shoulder inflammation, which placed him on the 10-day disabled list. He would miss significant time until June 23rd, where he did pitch well against the Astros, striking out 6 with a 13-3 victory. He did pitch the entire month of July with an average performance, which was clearly not the same at the All-Star level he once was. Then on August 5th, he would go on the disabled list again due to a right biceps tendonitis, where he would miss all of August and the majority of September. He finished the season going just 6-5 with a ballooning 4.36 ERA and just 78 strikeouts with just 16 starts. It is safe to say that wear and tear of carrying the Mariners for all those years finally caught up to him. Before the start of the 2018 season, Felix was dealing with a contusion in his right forearm, where he did miss at least 10 days throughout spring training. On opening day, Felix did pitch decent, helping the Mariners win. Although he only struck out 4, he didn't allow any runs, but he did struggle throughout the first half, where his ERA was going up to 5.83 at the end of May. It was also noticeable that his fastball was just gone and was clearly on the downside of his career. He was placed on the disabled list once again on July 10th. He was eventually taken out of the starting rotation by manager Scott Service. However, he did return to the rotation due to an injury of solid starter James Paxton, who did pitch a no-hitter earlier in the season.
Donaldson a couple of feet in the grave already. To Seager, the pick, the throw, Paxton has done it! It's a no-hitter!
Felix finished the season career worst 8-14 with a 5.55 ERA and struck out just 125 batters. Clearly, this was getting to the close to the end for Felix. 2019 would be Felix's final season for the Seattle Mariners, and the season started with Marco Gonzalez being the opening day starter, and Felix would be demoted down to the 5th starter in rotation. He did win his first start against the Angels, allowing just 1 run, but other than that, he would not win another start for the rest of the season. His ERA nearly ballooned to 7 and was placed on the 10-day disabled list with a right shoulder strain, and went on a rehab assignment with the Tacoma Rainiers. He finished the season just 1-8 with just 57 strikeouts, a 6.40 ERA, and just 15 starts. The only bright spot of that entire season when he did achieve the number of 2,500 strikeouts in his career on May 11th against the Boston Red Sox, and eventually, on September 26th, Felix pitched his final game where he did give a strong effort, but did allow 3 runs, leading to a Mariners defeat. However, he was given his final standing ovation, which was filled with emotions.
The King and his court one final time.
After the 2019 season, the Mariners did not pick up the final year of Felix's contract and signed a minor league deal with the Atlanta Braves. He did pitch in spring training, however his opportunity was cut short due to the COVID-19 pandemic, and even with the return of baseball in late July, he opted out of the season. Then in 2021, he signed a minor league contract with the Baltimore Orioles, but he shortly opted out of his contract at the end of spring training, making him a free agent, and he hasn't pitched since. Overall, throughout his career, Felix Hernandez was not only one of the best pitchers in Mariners history, but he was one of the best pitchers in the modern era of Major League Baseball. It's just very unfortunate that he played with some terrible Mariners teams where he did pitch his heart out with very little to work with, thanks to incompetent management wasting his prime, and by the time the Mariners did field a decent team, it was just too little too late, and his career was already on the downside due to carrying the team for many years. He is easily one of the most tragic heroes in Mariners history, and it's still even more unfortunate that he never got to compete in the playoffs. To add more to the tragedy, on April 11, 2016, David Schoenfeld of ESPN noted that Felix Hernandez might be the unluckiest pitcher in baseball. He said in quote, "In his time with the Mariners, Felix failed to get a win in at least 45 games in which he gave up 0 or 1 run in 317 innings pitched, with a 0.88 ERA and a 0.90 WHIP, with 340 strikeouts in those 317 innings. Yikes." However, his competitive heart, loyalty to Seattle, his funny commercials, and the King's Court will never be forgotten, and now he is a Mariners Hall of Famer. Congratulations, Felix, you deserve it. Hopefully one day, you will be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And thanks for watching. This was definitely one of the more emotional videos I made. If you did like this video, hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell for more possible Mariners nostalgic content.